Has your check engine light come on for your Ford Maverick? Now, check engine lights can often be a major source of concern, and they should be. So I've sold before a BMW check engine light came on, they pulled over, no issues. We put about almost $5,000 of repairs and sensors. Everything was fine. Another BMW, they kept driving when their check engine light came on, and guess what? They ignored the check engine blew. BMWs are famous for having great engines, great mechanics, but their sensors, the electronics, when they go, if you ignore them, the check engine light comes out, you might blow an engine. Same thing with an Audi. I sold an Audi in both cases. We worked it all out for the consumer, for the buyer. We got them new engines in their vehicles and helped them out with that. In the case of the Audi, someone traded in basically a somewhat starting to get high in mileage motor and end up getting a brand new motor. So it kind of ended up being a good deal for them because it cost them nothing and we lent them a vehicle in the meantime. So for the 2023 Ford Maverick, this is going to affect not just the this will affect the 23 Maverick because check engine lights might be coming on vehicles that were assembled at the plant between April 11th, 2023. So you can check your production date on your Maverick. It's written on your door sticker. Its birthday is written down. But make sure you weren't built between, or your Maverick wasn't born between April 11th, 2023 and August 23rd, 2023, because your check engine light might come on and you'll want to get this inspected because you have a time limit, pretty gracious time limit. We've got a lot of time to get this repaired for free. But what's going on here? That could concern a lot of people. Check engine, generally people always think something is wrong with my engine. And that's not true. Sometimes it's something outside of the engine that could lead to the engine exploding. I don't think this is going to lead to any engines exploding in any way whatsoever because the solution is simple. It's some reprogramming that the vehicle needs. So the dreaded light indicator could show up, and it's because of a diagnostic trouble code, DTC, and that gets thrown because of a leak. It detects a leak between the throttle body and the intake valves. And it looks like it's just a software issue, some reprogramming. So that makes me suspect there actually is no leak, because if there was a leak, that would have to do with, a gasket or a crack in the metal. But it's just a reprogramming, so this will get fixed. Ford will fix it for free. They're not just going to reset, with an OBD scanner. Even I myself, in all my lack of talent, can erase an engine code. I can erase that little light easily. It takes me the time to walk out to the vehicle, find the plug it in. I can erase those engine codes. This isn't what Ford's going to be doing. So we'll get into details of exactly what they're going to be doing, but let's first talk about the impact. So from April 11th, 2023 to August 23rd, 2023, that's 18,063 units that could very well be affected. About 1,400 in Canada, and I'll get 1,463 units in Canada, but I'll get to the exact number in a moment. So overall, quite a few units. So in size, that seems drastic. And do expect, journalists will be talking about, recalls and whatnot this year. Ford will be number one when it comes to recalls. They're going to hit the 100, probably get to 100 recalls for the year. They're easily into the 70s. I actually think they're probably getting close to the 90s, and the year's not done. But Ford does things like this. This is one that obviously, instead of just dealing with the few people coming in and keeping all hush-hush, they could have, not said anything. Wait for people to come in. Oh, you have a check engine? We'll look into that. And then, an hour later say, sir, madam, it's resolved. We did a reprogramming, but they didn't keep it hush hush. It's a customer service, a customer satisfaction bulletin. So they publicize that they will, they'll check out your Maverick and they'll get it just right. So something needs to be reprogrammed there. And you've got until September 28th, 2031, time-wise, or 80,000 miles to get this checked out and reprogrammed if you were built within those dates. Now, unfortunately,
that's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time, and no particular VINs were indicated as being troublesome, which makes me think that, could be an issue with any one of the 18,063 units built between those dates. That's still the total number of vehicles that get recalled by a manufacturer isn't something that bothers me. It's what is getting recalled. And the thing that bothers me the most is when things do not get recalled. It's companies that don't do customer satisfaction bulletins where they fix something for free. Lack of recalls, that bothers me. Now, Ford is being a little excessive with recalls these days, and they're going to be working. Jim Farley has already said that, many heads and tops at Ford have said quality is number one. They've got to get quality down. They want to bring recalls down, but that doesn't mean that they want to just ignore or make less recalls. It means they want to get it right from the start, which maybe that means spending a little more time with the product before you release it. Now, the Ford Bronco got a sneak release. It got a dealer took pictures in Las Vegas way back when they weren't supposed to, and it got everyone extremely excited. It kind of pushed forward and made things move faster on the vehicle. So maybe they'll be holding on to vehicles a little longer if they want to get those recalls down, because this isn't the type of recall that's caused from workers, UAW workers, not doing their job properly. So hopefully there won't be any, hatred or comments about, UAW workers don't deserve a raise, because look at all Ford's recalls. All these recalls aren't related to the workers. The workers are doing a great job, and I'm not wearing a hat, but my hat goes off to you guys and ladies. You're making a good product. We loved our Maverick, and we're just we really liked our Maverick, and we love our Bronco. I think that's a forever vehicle for Marie. The Bronco's just been incredible. So let's cover a little more information on this to really flesh out the story fully. So, of course, this is affecting, you may be wondering, what engine is this affecting? Do you have an EcoBoost? Okay, if you have an EcoBoost, you don't have to worry. Take a big breath. You're not affected. This is for the 2.5 liter hybrid. And even if you are built within those dates, well, obviously the ones built back in April, they've already been delivered. And that's where, a fantastic article written by Alexandra Purcell from Ford Authority. You can read that if you like to read your news. If you like to watch your news, well, stay right here. And either way, stay here. But she mentioned that she, seemed to kind of conclude, what was the conclusion here? A bit of a conclusion, figuring that many of these vehicles won't yet be delivered and are yet to be delivered. Now, obviously, I disagree with that, because all the ones in April, May, built in April, built in May, pretty much all the ones built in June, they have been delivered, because hybrid Mavericks are all customer orders, buyers' orders. So most of these have been delivered, but obviously the ones built in the month of August, some of those have yet to be delivered. So the ones built in August that have yet to be delivered, so a very small percentage of these Mavericks have yet to be delivered, they will get fixed before being given to customers. And that's actually an order from Ford, because Ford has given what's called a demonstration/delivery hold. So we have to do this before delivering them. So don't worry, if you haven't picked up your Maverick yet, this isn't going to be an issue for you. And if you're currently driving your Maverick and were built between those dates, so pretty much almost everyone built between those dates, you could very well be affected. Have it checked out. If your check engine light doesn't come on, have them check into it when you go for an oil change, because it's not going to add very much time to your appointment at the dealership. This is something that will be taken care of in under 1 hour. Ford is actually paying, so they've put aside money for dealers to cover 0.8 of an hour. So not a full hour. This takes under an hour to do. And it's certain 2.5 liter Duratec hybrid engine power control module, the PCM, needing reprogramming. So not the end of the world, folks. Now, the program terms, it's if you're Canadian, it's good until same dates, obviously, Canadian and American dates. There's no exchange rate on that, September 28th, 2031, but there is for kilometers versus miles. So you have 8 years in both countries, but 130,000 kilometers or 80,000 miles to have this checked out. If you don't have it checked out and your check engine comes on later and it's because of this, so far it's looking like you won't be covered. So it is important to do it at your next oil change. And if your dealer tries to say we don't have time for that, well, Ford's made it very clear to dealers that the priority are customers who already own the vehicle, and they have to prioritize them above their used Mavericks on their lots, as well as even their new unsold Mavericks on their lots. So customers, so that would be stock, not someone's order. Someone's order will be prioritized. So don't worry about being put at the back burner and ignored. And if your dealer does do that, it's not Ford's issue, it's the dealer's issue, because Ford is making it very clear to dealers to prioritize customers over money, over the used vehicles that they want to make money on. So the reason for this program, according to Ford, straight from the bulletin, they say in the affected vehicles, diagnostic trouble code DTC P2282, air leak between throttle body and intake valves, may be inadvertently set, potentially causing the check engine light to illuminate during normal driving conditions while the vehicle is in motion. Now, that's Ford's wording. And I have to say, whoever wrote this, well, my hat goes off to you. Congratulations, you've used some, you're really trying to get the longer words in there. So inadvertently making it challenging for me to repeat this, but that's fine. So these were Mavericks obviously built at the Hermosillo plant. I've said that wrong, my apologies. And in Canada, it's affecting 1,445 vehicles. So you can see that the huge majority of hybrids are being delivered in the United States. So of the 18,063 or 68, 1,445 in Canada. And Ford has made it unbelievably clear for dealers what they need to do. They've made it step by step. I've printed them out. There's roughly 14 steps, and Ford, like, this is idiot proof. So if you go to your dealer and your dealer is like, haven't heard about it, or we don't know yet how to do that procedure, they only need to know how to read. Open an email and read, or watch this show. So this is, let's see, the coding for this, what have they named this one here? We'll get to that in just a moment. But this is the program, Customer Satisfaction Program 23P18, with a recommended demonstration / delivery hold. It says recommended, but we can't deliver them unless we do the work. We could, and some dealers will. They'll try to cheat contract dates and say they delivered them before this date and then maybe ignore their client about actually doing the work. But that's wrong. Make sure this gets done before you take delivery of your vehicle so your new vehicle experience isn't ruined by that nasty little check engine light. So for those dealers that don't know what the heck they're doing, Ford spelt it out. There's a category in this bulletin, questions and assistance, with who to contact, phone number, and email. They're like, come on, reach out to us. We'll walk you through it. Ford as a manufacturer just wants dealers. The dealers just need to take baby steps. Ford will do all the heavy lifting and all the running around, and they'll take care of you. So if your dealer isn't taking care of you, please don't blame Ford, but please do put your comments, what you think about all of this, in the comment section. I want to hear from y'all. What do you think about this? Is this, so far from what we're discussing, is this worrying you? Are you concerned? Does this make you feel, less confident about your Ford Maverick? Do you think that the media is going to, at some point, spin this as, watch out, be wary of buying a Ford Maverick? I know when we got to talking about your Ford Bronco NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Association, investigation into the 2.7 liter, I already know that some media sources have already, they had in the past, but they've already re-jumped in saying that, the Bronco isn't, has major issues and, isn't really built properly. I know that's not how Car Edge worded it, but Car Edge was kind of pointing to the fact like, hey, Bronco issues with the engine. And we'll get to talking about whether it really is an issue. How serious is it? I'd say for the Ford Maverick, this isn't serious at all. This check engine is not going to lead to a blown engine. This isn't a typical or, typical enough BMW event where a sensor goes and then if you ignore it, your engine blows. This seems to be, so far, and I'll correct it if it turns out to be something else, but so far this really just seems like a code popping up, causing the engine to go up, and the code shouldn't be popping up because there is no leak. If there was a leak, trust me, it would take more than an hour to fix if there is an air leak between the throttle body and the intake. So continuing on, this is activated in Oasis for dealers as of September 29th, 2023. The FSA VIN-less activation, while there is none, because it can potentially affect all the vehicles, because it's a programming issue that could cause the light to pop up, so they just need to reprogram something in that computing system. So stock vehicles, Ford sets it out straight. Correct all affected units in your new vehicle inventory before delivery. Very straight instructions. Some dealers will probably cheat. I've caught dealers selling vehicles last week, putting dates back to August in order to, putting dates of August 20th in order to avoid a recall on a Super Duty differential so that they can go ahead and deliver it. Some dealers are just nasty. So that was a costly mistake for me because, myself and my dealership, we refuse to cheat, lie, and steal for dollars. So we've got a good system. So you really need to shop. I think the moral of the story is you really need to shop your dealership because not all businesses function the same way. So rental vehicles, there will be no rental vehicle available because this is to be done in under an hour. So a lot of dealerships will have like a taxi service and they'll bring you off to somewhere. If you want to go shopping or be taken to work, they'll bring you there. So look into that. But this can be done at the same time as an oil change. And for dealerships, for claims and preparation, Ford puts it right out. So you just need to check your DLRC something or another, your emails coming in from Ford for program 23P18, and they'll walk you right through it. They even walk you through all the instructions. They walk you through how to claim it and how to repair it. So they tell you how to update the PCM software. And Marie, you can attest to that here. I'll show you all. They've really given us step-by-step instructions. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. Step 1 is connect a battery charger to the 12-volt battery. Step 2, log into Ford Diagnostic and Repair System. Step 3, click read VIN from vehicle or manually enter the vehicle identification number. Step 4, select Toolbox tab. They're telling us how to work the laptops that we connect to the vehicles to do a reprogrammation. So really simple, nothing mechanical here, nothing to worry about, but media will spin this. So don't be fooled. The Ford Maverick is still a fantastic, affordable vehicle to be sought after. So everyone in the media seems to have their agenda. We even have one local media, you could say, conglomerate. So because we're in a French-speaking province, there's really only one channel, you could say, for vehicle information on television. And that one show everyone listens to and follows. It's because they're the only ones people take it, as serious as they should take the Bible. And unfortunately, that one source just happens out of pure coincidence to get a lot of publicity dollars for Kia and Hyundai. And coincidentally, they say things like Kia and Hyundai are now more reliable and better than Toyota. You should buy a Kia and a Hyundai because they're better than a Toyota. Nobody beats. And they just go on and on about how Kia and Hyundai are so incredible And I'm not saying they're bad, but I am saying that they're also saying this when Kia and Hyundai, no media sources seem to want to cover how they're making crap engines, total crap engines, the total amount, the percentage of vehicles that end up knocking, and then the percentage of those knocking engines that will end up blowing up, that will just completely have catastrophic engine failure, is far, far, far too high. But then you've got, our local media saying that Kia and Hyundai are better than Toyota, and that's their main recommendation. And they're always going on about how horrible Ford is because of recalls. And they got so much backlash at one point from F-150 customers, owners, that they started instead to say that F-150 it's the most sold truck. Everyone knows it's a good truck, except for the EcoBoost engines. And then it's like, hey, buddy, that's like 90% of our sales, 95% of the sales in our region, region or our part of the country. So how can you say that an F-150 is good, but then these EcoBoost engines are, just garbage? It doesn't make sense. It's almost all of them it's the huge majority of them that are on the road. So unfortunately, media, they have their agenda, they have their dollars, they have their paymaster, they are bought, owned, and paid for. But here we are independent and no paid promotions here. We are staying independent. So now that's what we've got to say about that. I wouldn't worry about the Ford Maverick. Things cost way too much. Salaries have followed inflation for the last 30, 40 years, but not the cost of living. This is why I defend so wholeheartedly the Ford Maverick, because Ford actually made a truck that can make you money or save you money. You can do jobs with this, or it can save you money because you get your own jobs at home done instead of having to pay out for them. Very useful and extremely well priced when you look at the truck market, or even just the overall vehicle SUV market. And I feel like someone's got to defend this thing against, big media. People need an alternative that's inexpensive.